100 years ago.
So would you think Cy Young, once Judge hits a homer, that he would put him on the deck the next time?
Without a doubt.
Because the old day, that was you hit a home run, well, you might as well expect it. It's coming. This day, you kind of emotionally hurt somebody if you do that.
Right. Without a doubt, he would be eating some dirt. So it's not that I think the game is less interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's equal. I really don't think the game has changed.
All right, so we go to number 4, which is close and dear to your heart, I know. The University of Tennessee football team will reach a bowl game this season. Do you tweet that or do you delete that?
You had to go there.
Yep.
Delete it.
Delete it.
I was there.
No bowling.
I was there Saturday, and Joe, they just got beat. They did not pull out any trick plays. Georgia State didn't. They just, from the kickoff on, they dominated that game. My dad joined us here tonight. He's wearing his black UT hat. He said he was in mourning. I hope they can righten the ship. I was talking to someone at school today about it, and they said they think Georgia State's going to surprise a lot of people this year and potentially qualify for a bowl. I hope he's right, and I hope UT gets the ship righted against BYU, but as of right now, I really don't see it.
Well, Georgia State does play a tough conference. They've got Carson Newman, Tusculum, Emory and Henry, and NYUVA. So.
And as a lot of people have been saying, Tennessee paid them, I think it was close to $900,000.
$950,000.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And they, like I said, they beat Tennessee. There weren't any trick plays. It was just they beat them.
So we went through 4. Let's talk about number 5. Tweet it or delete it. Again, if the NBA teams of today played the teams of the 1990s with the rules of the 90s, they would only win about 1 out of every 4 games. Would you tweet that or would you delete that?
I would tweet it.
Tweet it.
I'd take Michael Jordan over LeBron, Larry Bird over Stephen Curry any day. Bill Laimbeer, Charles Barkley, compare them to Russell Westbrook. There's really not much of a comparison. Look at the original Olympic Dream Team. No contest.
Oh, they would beat them like they'd stole something because they really, and you talk about the 90s in basketball, it was a different era. The Jordan rules, of course, I'm a Detroit Piston fan, loved them back when they were the bad boys. Could you imagine if James Harden was driving down court and had Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and Laimbeer and Rodman and Sally?
I was getting ready to say, you think Rodman would take that?
He would be on his back. If the Jordan rules, again, it would be a different era. But anyway, so we just wanted to add tweet it or delete it, to bring in a little bit of perspective on other sports and everything like that.
I want to add something else, though. Please address all complaints to Joe Carter at Gate City Sports Radio.
Oh, my goodness.
The opinions stated here are not necessarily reflective of those of the company. Very
true, very true. But, of course, you also did mention that you were going to be slashing tires coming Friday night. So
I said if they needed me to, whatever works, pregame rituals, I'm a firm believer in them.
So that's all right. Anyway, we'll give Mr. Carr's telephone number on the website. All right, quickly, going through some other Gate City sports that's going on. Last Thursday, the Gate City golf team traveled to Wise County. They played their second conference match of the year at the Lonesome Pine Country Club. The Devils placed second. Again, that was behind Abington. Abington does not qualify for the Region 2, so the Devils actually won the tournament. They shot the following. Luke Wallen has had a great season, shot an 81. Brevin Spivey at 82. Caitlin Parton, 91, as well as Ethan Dishner shot a 91. Colin Keller had 92. Evan Lane rounded out the top 6 with a shot of 98. They're playing right now. I think they just concluded at the Tri-Cities Country Club. So, again, we'll have those results, and we'll post those as well. Talking about volleyball, last Wednesday, the Lady Devils opened up the season. They hosted Daniel Boone. They fell 25-15, 25-12, and 25-20. Again, that game played at Gate City. Of course, tonight they're at Sullivan East. That's a back-and-forth game, and they'll host Volunteer tomorrow night. Again, that ball game, or that match, will be at 6 o'clock tomorrow The junior varsity last week did knock off the Lady Trailblazers in 2 quick sets. Lastly, the cross-country team, they are in action tonight. They're in Jonesville competing at the Cumberland Bowl Park. We will have highlights of that, and we'll post that on all of our social media outlets. So a lot of sports action going on right now, Chris, around the Horn.
Yeah, Joe, a lot going on right now. There's quite a buzz going on about Gate City football. I had several people stop me, ask me if Gate City really looked that good. I told them yes, they did. And then, of course, they also turned around and said, did Richland's kicker really do that? Mm-hmm. And I said yes. Yes, he did.
And he could have done it from a lot of 6 or 7 yards farther.
One thing I don't understand about that game, going back to it, twice in the fourth quarter, Richlands had the ball inside the Gate City 20 on 4th down. And as automatic as he is, they did not put the points on the board, and they went for the first down and were denied. That's 6 points that pretty much are automatic, and Gate City won by 5.
Well, there was 8 possessions. Richlands was inside either the 35 or closer in Gate City territory. 5 of those 8 possessions only netted 9 points.
That's a great tribute to Gate City's defense, but at the same time, I was just scratching my head. As automatic as those chip shots you would think would be for the kicker, I've got a feeling Richlands would like to have those back.
Yeah, and again, to Coach Mant's credit, he said that Gate City outcoached him. There were some gambles, some things, like you said, he would want back. But, you have to give Gate City a lot of credit. Bend but don't break. And, again, they were subbing guys in, that fourth quarter. I think I counted there was 9 to 10 different injury timeouts that was called because of cramping on both sides. So, again, it was
I think also a lot of that was just they weren't respecting Gate City. They were perhaps overlooking Gate City quite a bit. And the boys, I believe it was Dondre, when he was here earlier, said that they felt that Abingdon was similar to Richlands. Mm-hmm. Something tells me, though, after last Friday, Abingdon will not be overlooking Gate City.
Well, and two, you talk about an Abingdon team that just rolled over John Battle. They didn't play their starters in much of the third quarter, even in fourth. Gate City's been through a knockdown, drag out. So be interested to see how the conditioning works out from that standpoint as well. Just to change topics really quick, Ethan Dingus just sent in. Ethan Dingus and Suzanne Moore are the 2019 Cumberland Bowl cross-country race winners. So, again, they're wrapping up in Jonesville. So we've got the best boy and girl cross-country runners that just participated in the meet. So congratulations to them. We'll have results, and we'll post those later on tonight or early in the morning. But Gate City with some success here early in the sports year. So with that said, let's take one more break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about Abingdon. And, again, we'll go over our pick'em panel results from week 1 and get you ready for a great ball game coming up here less than 48 hours away. We'll be kicking off against the Abingdon Falcons from Legion Field. You're listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
For exceptional Mexican food and the perfect place to stop in before heading out to watch another Gate City victory, La Carreta Express in Weber City offers a tremendous menu of authentic Mexican cuisine at a great price. La Carreta proudly supports Blue Devil Sports, and they're open 7 days a week, even until 10 p.m. every night except Sunday. So dine in with them today or give them a call at 276-386-7000 for call-in orders. Again, that's 276-386-7000. And they're located next to Weber City Drug on U.S. Highway 23 in Weber City.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
Whether you're headed out to the game or if you're looking for something great to eat, stop by and see your friends at the Campus Drive-In just down the road from Gate City High School on Kane Street. They have a tremendous selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items, and they're open 7 days a week. Campus Drive-In has supported Blue Devil Sports for over 60 years, and once again, they are the proud sponsors of our halftime show here on Gate City Sports Radio. Please follow them on Facebook and place your call-in orders by dialing 276-386-3702. Again, that's 276-386-3702.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
And we are back here live from the campus drive-in on King Street in Gate City. Again, exciting ball game coming up for our Blue Devils as they host Abingdon. Again, talking about Abingdon really quick, their coach is Garrett Ambergy. The previous head coach was Darren Reed, which is now on our staff, our offensive coordinator. So there's going to be there's always a lot of emotion when you get to that kind of situation. Last year, they finished 9-3, 6-0 in conference. They blew us out after, like we mentioned with the players. We were up 13-3 last year. Really played a very good first half. But just like last year, turnovers were our undoing. And again, there was about 20 seconds left. It was 13. They scored. They got a field goal. It was 13-3. They kicked off to us. We fumbled it, giving them the ball in the 9-2 plays later. They score. It was 13-10, went into halftime, and they went on to the 45-13 victory over our Blue Devils. Of course, some of those key losses from last year, Gabe Booth, William Seymour, as well as Holt Dotson, Gage Bassam. He actually transferred to Lord Body Tot, a Division I prospect. He's gone from last year's team. However, Martin Lucas Jr., get to know the name. They are going to feed him the ball and feed him and feed him and feed him. As we mentioned, had 130 yards against John Battle last Friday night. He had 2 touchdowns. He had 1 receiving as well. You'll hear his name a lot. River Carter stepped up as a dependable wide receiver for Abingdon. And then Jake Johnson Jr., a linebacker that goes sideline to sideline, a lot of speed. When you talk about this team, of course, Ambergy came in. He took over for Darren Reed, and he was named last year's Bristol Herald Courier's Coach of the Year after they won the Mountain 7. They've got 4 starters back on defense, 6 on offense, and again, Lucas is the centerpiece. Their offensive line is their strength. They've got 250, 302, 265, and 219. That's their front across what they're looking at doing. Of course, then with this team, Graham Griffith, we talked about the kicking game. They've got a great kicker as well. It's not what we've seen last week, but he accumulated for 38 points last year on 3 field goals. Abingdon, we mentioned with the playoff possibilities, Richlands will get some points for as they go into the season. Abingdon is a big prize, a Class 3. We get more from them, and then the PowerPoint. So, Chris, your initial thoughts taking on the Falcons on Friday night?
I'm glad Gate City has them at home. I hope, and I'm quite confident that Gate City's worked on their secondary. We know Abingdon's not afraid to fling the ball around, and Richlands had some open receivers Friday night. If there was a spot that I thought Gate City did not shine, it was maybe in letting the receivers get open. Fortunately, though, the quarterback was pressured to the point he couldn't get the ball to them. So I hope they're going to be ready for that Abingdon air attack because I've just got a feeling it's coming.
Again, Abington's main set, they run. They've got, of course, quarterback, 1 running back, which is Lucas, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. So they're going to see a lot of similar things with what Richlands try to do to the Blue Devils, spread them out, create some running alleys for Booth. Now they play the zone blocking scheme where they'll all take 2 steps and allow Booth to pick and choose. Again, he's got great vision. Just a junior this year as well. Lucas also at 230 pounds, he will play some linebacker if needs be. So it'll be interesting to see with that. So, again, it's going to be a great game. We'll have more of an in-depth look at the Abingdon-Gate City matchup on the preview show. Preview show will be Friday night starting at 6 o'clock. Again, we'll get you ready for the ball game. And, of course, we'll have live coverage of the game, which will start at 7. So, want to say thank you to Premier Pharmacy as they sponsor our Players of the Week and Player of the Year Award. James River Advisors do the pre- and post-game show. Campus Drive-In, their halftime show they sponsor, as well as for our live show here. Delegate Terry Kilgore, he does the Leadership Player of the Game Award. And, again, you'll hear us here live every Wednesday night at 6:30. So, the pick and panel last week, again, with myself, Mr. Carr, Tanner Cook, who, again, does a tremendous job for Johnson City Press, Kingsport Times News, and Larry